suppose like looking at your club career as well with Nemo Rangers, like you had 3 Cork titles in there, 2 Munster titles, an All Ireland final appearance in 2018 as well, and obviously you were supposed to be playing in another one as well, but we're not too sure when that's going to happen. But like, what was it like to, I suppose, what's it like to be involved with, the most successful club in Cork? They've obviously won the most Cork senior football titles. So, like, what's it been like, I suppose, coming through that team and being involved with Nemo Rangers?
Look, it's a massive privilege, and I've no doubt every player is proud to play for their club, but yeah, I get a serious sense of pride of being part of that history, as you mentioned there, the most Cork titles. Just to be able to contribute to that is probably enough. There's that cliche when you take a jersey, the intention is to leave it in a better place where you got it. So I think with clubs like that, you're only wearing the senior jersey for a small period. In the grand scheme of things. So for me, look, as I said, it's just pride to be able to play for a club like that. I look at kind of what we have now in young players coming through, and you just kind of, I'm definitely excited as to what the next 2 or 3 years can bring us. With what we've been developing and some of the young players coming through. But yeah, I suppose that's the one buzzword. I don't want to overuse it, but pride to be part of a culture that Nemo has is definitely the overwhelming feeling.
Absolutely, yeah, I can imagine so. And I suppose winning that county title in 2017 as well, like, I'd say that was, I suppose, first of all, a proud moment, but I'd imagine a bit of weight off the shoulders as well, because it had been 7 years since you'd last won one. So I'd say that was a big moment for yourself and for the rest of the lads as well.
Yeah, and look, for myself personally as well, it was from my first big breakout year, from a personal standpoint, performance-wise. So, yeah, it was a sweet moment for us. And as I said earlier, you don't need to look far at a club like Nemo to see legends of the club, but you also don't need to look far to see fellas who have county medals coming out their back pockets. But those fellas are always quick to remind you that every medal is as important as the next one, and every one is as sweet as the next. So, yeah, it was great, but unfortunately, it's something that's bred into us. We kind of have a thirst to get more, and we try not to dwell too much on winning one and wanting to get another. So that might be a negative, not being able to enjoy it as much as we'd like. But I hope to finish my career with a couple more. So I think I'll be able to look back on it and enjoy them that bit more when I'm finished. But yeah, look, it's something that don't turn your nose to either. There's clubs that go through careers, and there's players that will never win a county or never get that opportunity. So I'm slow to forget how privileged I am.
Yeah, and I suppose, yeah, like when you've won, like when Nemo Rangers have won as many county titles as they have, I suppose they're always going to set their sights on an All Ireland or a Munster. And I suppose for yourself, like coming up against that Corofin side, like one of the greatest club teams of all time, you had many battles against them. Like, what's it been like coming up against them, and how good are they in your opinion?
Well, 2018, the 2017-2018 season, that was we were probably a little bit, I wouldn't say arrogant, but I don't think we understood what we were coming up against. We had watched their semi-final that year was played in, I think they played in horrendous conditions. And they had got over the line, which I think was 1 or 2 points only. And they didn't look how they looked on All Ireland final day, I can assure you. But like you mentioned it, they're probably one of the best club teams, or they might even be the best club team to have done it. They definitely give us a lesson that day, and they've probably brought the club game to a new level. The standards they've set have kind of meant the likes of ourselves. And you look, Ballyboden, likes of Ballymon there last year. These clubs are kind of nearly an inter-county setup. Some clubs, and we've always prided ourselves at competing when we get out of Cork, at Munster and at All Ireland level if we get the opportunity. So, yeah, it was definitely a wake-up call. We had beaten Corks, we had beaten Schlocknail. We probably thought we were, I wouldn't say we thought we were better than what we were, but we probably went in on a big wave of good feeling to be torn down very, very quickly in, I think, the first 10 minutes of an All Ireland final. So it's definitely a position I never want to be in again. But then we had the joy of facing them again 2 years later in 2019, where again we felt we felt we were better set up, better prepared. But I think one of their biggest traits and one of their biggest attributes has been able to adapt to different styles of games. You know, that was probably a bit more of a dogged battle, and again, they showed us the right way or the better way of doing it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like from looking at them myself at times, like they look like, you know, they're some team altogether. And I suppose like looking at like 2020 as well, like, and looking at how that you know, All Ireland Club Championship could have panned out, or the provincials and whatnot. Like obviously Corofin were beaten in the Galway Senior Football Championship. So do you think for yourselves even that, you know, moving into 2021 or 2022, like whenever the, you know, provincial club championships do come back around, that there is that potential there for yourselves to go on a run again and actually, you know, end that way for an All Ireland club title?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to lie. It's definitely something we spoke about. It's not something that we shy away from. You know, there's obviously the intention to win our county and get that sorted for us. But I think with the likes of ourselves, and when you do get there, there's probably a window of 4 or 5 years there where you have a group that is probably good enough to get to that level, and you probably won't have many more opportunities after that to get there. So I think we're under no illusion that the clock is ticking on our opportunity to get there again, and to, I suppose, to maybe one day break that gap. But yeah, I kind of had to laugh right a small bit at when the most recent club season ended, and some of the county winners of other counties were saying that they should bring in the provincial clubs or play them. You know, teams who had not won a county for a couple of years were now looking to get into Munster or Leinster. And we kind of said that there's probably a rite of passage. You probably have to lose the Corofin before you can start asking for a provincial or an All-Ireland series to be set up. So I think we've gone through that rite of passage, and we hopefully get to battle with Corofin gone over the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I can imagine so. All right, like it must feel a little unfortunate as well. Like the 1 year they've actually been beaten and that run has actually ended. I mean, they could actually still go and win the 4 in a row, even though they got beat the year previously.
Yeah, I actually haven't looked at it that way, you know, and that's a sobering thought to have, right, to pass on. But yeah, look, as I said, it's definitely something that we've mentioned, but you know, you have to be a county champion to get anywhere first. So it's very much back to square one, and to get over the line in our own county before we start looking at that.